Welcome back
Oh,
to
shit.
the Neutral Zone, live episode number 30, I believe. It's either 30 or 31. I think I done lost track, but I believe it's episode 30.
Well, you ain't been on your shit, boy.
Today we're just gonna be talking about title favorites heading into the year. I'll talk a little bit about the combine, and stuff like that. This dude's crazy. We're also gonna do a mock draft video here soon, so that's gonna be kind of fun.
Yeah, that'll be dope. That'll be real dope.
I know a lot of the people who kind of follow our channel is just strictly college football, but
bro, put some pep in you. Are we live yet?
We're live,
practicing, bro. You need to put some motherfucking pep in your voice. I'm about to go to sleep.
That's what happens.
Pep in your voice.
That's what happens when you have to consistently and constantly carry the show. It takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on you, man.
Put us on your back, Mike. Put us on your back. I'll be Dennis Rodman. I got 15 rebounds.
It's crazy. I'm sending out the link right now to a few people before we get started. Let's see.
We should do a live, we should have a little opener first so people have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's just another task you're giving me to another task you're delegating off, huh?
I got this local artist, man, want to do a little intro for us, man. Sly Boogie, man. Bro, we can put a little intro together, man. With Sly Boogie.
That's crazy. Let me see. All right. So we obviously Bama's in here. We obviously put out a video 2 days ago talking about our conference favorites and our prediction heading into this year. Kind of want to get everybody else's opinions on it and your guys' predictions. I want to know. We talked about conference favorites and conference our predictions for who's going to win it. I want to talk about one team in every conference that we think is going to take a drastic step back.
Ooh, back. Okay.
Okay. So we'll start off with the Big Ten first. I'll let you go first in the Big Ten. And when I say drastic, I mean
yeah. So
you can put it however you want.
Okay. So I don't want to say drastic, but if I believe there was a team that's going to take a step back, and I'm going to be honest, I am not. This is no hate. This is no cap. This is just obviously
you're too old to say no cap. Come on. No cap,
but yeah, I would say Michigan. I think with what all they lost, I think you said even during the video, 18 players at the combine, a whole staff upheaval. So when we say step back, obviously they were undefeated, 15-0 last year. I don't suspect that they're going to be 6-6. I suspect that they're still going to be a 10-win team. But I don't think they're going to be in the conference. I said they're going to be one of the two teams in the conference championship. I think they will be thick. They will be in the thick of the conference championship. But I wouldn't be shocked if it was Oregon. And if they're not in the conference championship, like you predicted, that would be a step back.
I didn't predict Michigan in the conference championship.
Well, you said you thought Oregon would be. You said Ohio State and Oregon.
Oh, yeah. I think. Oh, maybe I misheard you then. Yeah, I think it's going to be Ohio State, Oregon. I don't think it's going to be Michigan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if they're not in the conference championship you predicted, then that is a step back from the national championship.
So Michigan plays Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, USC, and Texas. I think they're going to lose 3 of those 5 games.
Ooh, shit.
Personally, I think they're going to go 9-3 in the regular season. I think this team's going to take a huge step back. You lose McCarthy. Obviously one of the better quarterbacks in college football, one of the most veteran. You lose a great running back in Corum. You lose half of your, offensive line and your defense. You lose your head coach. I think this team is going to have a lot of growing pains. Like I said, there's 5 teams on their schedule that I would say they could lose, and I'm counting Washington in there as well. But I do think Washington's going to be down as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan beat them. But I think a USC could beat them. I think a Texas could beat them. I think a Oregon could beat them. And I think an Ohio State could beat them. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost all 4 of those games. Obviously, we saw how poor USC was this year. So when you think about a team who's going to take a drastic step back, I'm not going to name them because I don't think they're going to be 7-5 again. I think they're going to be a little bit better. If not, they're going to be the same.
Wait a minute. You say you think USC is going to be better without Caleb Williams?
I think when you look at
based off of what? Yeah.
So if you look at how tough the Pac-12 was this year, and they finished 7-5, I don't think the Big Ten is going to be as tough as the Pac-12 was last year, especially when
Okay.
you think about, the teams that USC is going to have to play in relation to who they played last year.
Right.
And again, I mean, we talked about their defensive woes. We saw how explosive the offense looked in the bowl game. Obviously, it's a bowl game, so it's a little bit different. But I think eventually, and it could just be me being optimistic, I think eventually Lincoln Riley is going to pick the pieces together, and they're going to be able to win shootouts. He's always done it in Oklahoma.
So,
Obviously
but let me
the
ask
defense
you,
wasn't this bad, but
because Lincoln Riley and his style have played in two conferences that were wide open offenses, right? Where it was more of a shootout style. I would say the Big Ten is probably more of a ground and pound conference. Do you think that the Pac 12 teams are going to have some adjustment concerns, or do you believe issues? Do you believe that playing a different style of football, not necessarily Ohio State, but teams like Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin, who are tough in the trenches type teams, do you think, do you foresee them being able to do okay?
I don't. I mean, it's a double-edged sword there, because then you look at, can the Big Ten hang with the explosive offenses that are
Yeah,
coming
and
over?
I mean there is, yeah, I
So,
agree.
I mean, I think when you look at it that way, obviously something has got to give. And I just think that when you look at Lincoln Riley and his history of having great quarterbacks and his history of having, top tier elite offenses, I don't think that's going to change just because he's playing different teams.
Okay,
Yes, he's going to have to play a team like Ohio State and Michigan, but I mean, I don't think now all of a sudden this team is just not going to be able to move the ball down the field, because that's never been the case with his offense. Obviously, defensively, it's going to be tough, but I mean, if you say they had a really poor defense in the Pac-12, I would argue that the Pac-12 has better offenses than the Big Ten does. So I
but
think
I
they're
would
gonna
also say there's a different style to them. Like I said,
no, for sure.
Washington was a spread them out team. Oregon's a spread them out team. You're talking about playing a Wisconsin team, a Nebraska team, and I'm taking some middle of the road teams here, but Minnesota team that are teams that play in the trenches. Am I putting them on par with Washington and Oregon from last year? Absolutely not. But it is a different style. It is a completely different style that requires you to be good in the trenches. And in fact, I will say, I think that was part of USC's problem, is they were not good in the trenches.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you look at the Utah games, Utah over the last few years has beaten USC. I mean,
Yeah.
Utah plays similar to the Big Ten teams, but like I said, I
Mhm.
just think eventually Lincoln Riley's going to get a hold of it. I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't think they're going to be below 500 this year. I don't think they're going to be 6-6. So that's why I didn't name them. And I do think Michigan's going to be the team to take a step back. I think they'll be 9-3, 10-2 ish, right around there. I don't have them going to the Big Ten title game this year, because
Okay.
I think realistically they could lose a bunch of games on the schedule, because we don't know. It's a lot of unknown heading into next year. But moving on, we'll do the ACC. I'll go first. I would say a team that I think is going to take a drastic step back next year is, I'm going to go Louisville. I
Hmm.
think Louisville finished 11-1 if I'm not mistaken. Heading into the conference championship game. I don't think they're going to be 11-1 next year. Let me pull up their schedule just so I can kind
So
of.
I got it up just
Okay.
quickly. Big games. They play Notre Dame. They play Miami. They play Clemson. They play Kentucky. They do play Pitt, but I think Pitt's down. They play Boston College.
Yeah, so I
Those
would
are
say the Miami, Clemson, and Notre Dame game are all losable games. Obviously, they beat Notre Dame last year. Didn't have to play a team like Clemson. I don't think they played Miami either, if I'm not mistaken. I know they beat a Duke team without Riley Leonard. They beat a Kentucky team. So it's going to be interesting to see how this team kind of bounces back after having a surprising season to the masses. I obviously
mhm.
predicted them to make it to
You
the
did.
ACC title game, but I think they're going to be a 8-4, 9-3 team next year, which I would say is a drastic step back when you're going from 11-1. That's 2 to 3 losses, and not, in my opinion, not making it to
So
the ACC
just for
title
the
game.
record, finishing the season, they finished 10-4. They went into the championship 10-3.
But so did they lose 2 regular season games?
They lost 3 regular season games. No, I'm sorry, two
I
regular
was about to
season
say
games.
how,
2 regular season games, and then to Florida State in the conference championship. So
and
they
then
lost to
USC.
Kentucky and Pitt.
Okay. Oh, so they lost to Kentucky. Okay, I got you. But yeah, I would say Louisville. I don't foresee them being in the ACC title game next year. I think there's a lot of teams, Clemson, Miami, Florida State. I would even say I kind of favor North Carolina a bit over them, just because, again, when you're talking about a team like Louisville, who nobody expected, nobody expected Louisville to be where they're at. Now you're circling that game and wanting to play a team that went to the ACC title game and damn near beat a Florida State, losing to 14-6 if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yeah,
who's yours?
I'm gonna go with the obvious answer, which to me, Florida State, right? And I know Edgar asked, but yeah, so we kind of saw it a little bit in that Georgia game, and then really just kind of the end of the season as Jordan Travis got hurt. I think there's probably a claim to be made that no team has lost as much as Florida State lost. When you're talking about their tight end, their running back, their quarterback, both starting receivers, a lot on defense, to include Verse, who was a major player for them on defense. Yes, they are absolutely bringing in a lot of players, a lot of transfer portal players. We could talk about DJU and some of the other people that they're bringing in. But I don't think that you just, first, I don't think what they did in transfer portal matches what they lost. You probably are talking about 3 first-round players at least, right? When we say Travis, Verse, and Keon Coleman, and that's at least. I don't think they're bringing in that same level of talent. This was a 12-0 team. I think 13-0 team with the conference championship win prior to the Georgia game. I suspect they're going to lose a couple games. I don't think this is going to be the bottom's going to fall out, but I think their win-loss margin is going to be bigger than Louisville's. The difference in what their record was last year versus what it is at the end of this year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Obviously, Louisville being 10-4, I don't think they're going to be a 6-6 team or a
Right.
7-5 team. So I could see what you're saying, because I don't think Florida State's going to be undefeated next year. I would probably say they're going to go 9-3 or so in the regular season. So that's what I mean, 9-3, maybe 10-2. Just depends. We don't know what we're going to get out of this team, so we'll just have to see. But moving on to the Big 12, who do you got in the
Just
Big
quick,
12?
because I know Edgar said it. Good point. Washington lost a lot as well, and I wasn't saying Florida. I was making a quick statement, but yeah, Washington probably has as much of a claim to say they've lost as much as anybody. Big 12 is actually kind of hard for me because I think there's so many middle of the road teams that I don't know which team I think the bottom is going to fall out. Because I think Oklahoma is going to be good again next year. I think Texas is going to be good again next year. I think the only team I could really even say would be off the top of my head, I would say Kansas State. Probably drops a little bit. They finished 9-4. Obviously, and part of that is an assumption that Will Howard meant more to their offense than maybe we were led to believe. Yes, by the end of the season, Will Howard wasn't the starting quarterback anymore, but Will Howard still had a pretty decent season. And if he meant as much to them as hopefully he means to Ohio State as he takes over the starting quarterback position there. Again, this is a guy who did throw for 24 touchdowns last year as the starting quarterback at Kansas State before Avery Johnson took the starting role, and it looks like Avery Johnson is going to be the guy this year. That's kind of who I would go with because I think it's different when you're coming in for somebody versus having to be the man where teams are game planning for you. Because even as we talk about Avery Johnson, he really had one start, which was the NC State game. What happens when everybody, because there's at least some film on him, when everybody can game plan for him. We'll see. I think this is the one team I would say. And Big 12, like I said, is a little bit harder. I'd suspect that this is going to be the conference where a majority of their teams probably stay closest to par to what they did last year, except for probably Colorado winning the conference.
Okay. So my Big 12 pick, I'm surprised that you didn't go with this team because I think it's an obvious pick. West Virginia. West Virginia finished 9-4. They were 6-3 in conference. I think this team is going to be really bad next year. I think when you look at who they have to play at Penn State. That's what they open the season up with. Penn State. You play Pitt, who I think that's a losable game. You got Kansas. You got Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF, and Texas Tech. I think the floor for this team is like 3-9. And I think the ceiling is like 9-3.
Those are losable games. The hard part, especially with this conference as a whole, is just there's so many teams that are kind of, to me, in that West Virginia, Texas Tech. Like there's me.
Well, I think when you look at, the teams I named, I would say Penn State, they're obviously going to be an underdog in that game. I would say they're probably going to be an underdog against Kansas, Oklahoma State, and Arizona, and Kansas State. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 games of their 12 that I would say they're going to be underdogs in, bottom line. And I would say, even like you said, the Iowa State game, I think that game is very close. I think the UCF game is close. I think the Texas Tech game is close.
The hard thing, though, is West Virginia is bringing back a lot of players that made them, again, 9-4 last year. So if you said it, I guess it'd be based on the difficulty, the increase in the difficulty of their schedule next year, not necessarily based off of what they're losing.
Well, that plays a big part. They played Penn State, lost by 23. They played a TCU team who we obviously saw was not the TCU team from before, and they played Oklahoma. So they played 2 ranked teams the entire year, lost both of those games. They're going to be probably playing 4 or 5 ranked teams this season, with Kansas, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Arizona, and Penn State. So those are probably going to be 5 bona fide ranked teams. You were 0-2 against top 25 teams last year.
Okay.
And even if you look at their wins, like 3 or 4 of them wins were all by like 9 points or less, or a score or less. So
I think I didn't go with them only because I didn't. Yes, the schedule does get harder, but I think they're bringing back a lot of the same. So valid point. And I wanted Michael Campbell made a good point. Have to talk about blue chip ratio. So yeah, the hard part when guessing any team's losses is that if I recruited a 5-star and the next guy's a 5-star, he's probably pretty good too. The hard part is we don't know that, right? And we've seen too many times where the star system in recruiting doesn't necessarily equate to success on the field. So I can't say because a guy was a 5-star, but we've never seen him play, that's a 1-for-1 swap. That let's just take, for instance, and I don't know the answer to this, but Caleb Downs is leaving Alabama. I'm assuming Alabama has another 4 or 5-star safety that, again, off the top of my head, I don't know. But I can't say, hey, I plugged that guy in and, hey, we're all good. There's not a net loss there. We don't know that the next safety that Alabama has that they'd be putting in for Caleb Downs is going to be just as good. Maybe he is. But we can't just base that off the star system, right? The star system is a guesstimation based off of high school production. College football is completely different. It is our best guess, but I still got to knock Alabama for the loss of Caleb Downs.
Yeah. I agree with what you're saying. I think that's a very valid point. Moving on to the SEC. So I'm going to go first here with this one.
Okay.
Oh, this one's tough. I'm not going to lie. This one's very tough.
Well,
I feel like this is
this
is the toughest one to me.
Oh, really?
Just because I think a lot of the teams that were good last year are going to be good again this year.
Okay.
Man, this one's tough. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go LSU. I'm gonna go LSU.
Okay.
I think LSU is gonna be the team that's gonna take a drastic step back. Obviously, you could have a team like Kentucky who goes from 7-6 to 4-8. But I'm gonna say LSU. You're obviously losing Jaden Daniels, losing both of your receivers. So I think I'm gonna pull up their schedule right now. Just because I want to kind of see who they play. Obviously, there's not gonna be any more divisions, so they have USC. Which I think personally, this could be a hot take. I think that's a losable game. I think USC could beat LSU. Obviously, this is a neutral site game in Vegas. You play Nicholls, South Carolina. I think both of those are wins. UCLA is a win. South Alabama is a win. But then you play Ole Miss. Ole Miss, I believe, is a top 2 to 3 team in the conference this year. You play in Arkansas, who I've been on record saying they're down. But then you have A&M, Alabama, Florida, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma. I think we're looking at LSU maybe being 8-4, 9-3 heading into the offseason. which again, they obviously were 9-3, I believe, heading into the bowl game this year. But I think they were a playoff contender. They were really a playoff favorite heading into the year before the Florida State game. They were in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
I don't think anybody is even talking about LSU to even win this conference this year, let alone to win the national championship.
Right.
So I think the expectation for this program has drastically went down. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this team finished 10-2 in conference and made it to the SEC title game. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they were 7-5 or 8-4 because they're losing a Heisman player, they're losing talent, out wide. So I just don't know. There's a lot of unknown with this team as well. So I'm going to go LSU.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to go with the more obvious answer. I think it was said, just kind of as I thought this, as you said this, the team that obviously came to mind right away was Alabama. And again, I'm gonna preface this by saying I don't think the bottom falls out. I think Kalen DeBoer is probably a very good coach. Seemed to have won at every place he's been. I don't think he's Nick Saban. I think there's an abundance of talent at Alabama, but I think you've lost some all-world guys. I think Dallas Turner was legit. I think Caleb Downs was legit. You still have people like Jalen Milroe. Bond is a big deal. So you're going to end up losing just about all of your key players minus Milroe coming back. So you're losing both cornerbacks. So basically you dang near lost your entire secondary. Do I think the bottom is going to fall out? No, but when I look at this schedule, we have to say the Auburn game is always going to be tough. They play Oklahoma. That's a game, let me say, that I could see going either way. They play LSU, a game that is always pretty tough. Missouri, I think right now, if I had to pick the Missouri game, I'd probably pick Missouri to beat them today. Tennessee's always pretty tough. South Carolina is no slouch. Obviously, Georgia. Wisconsin is going to be pretty good next year. So when I look at all those games, again, do I think that Alabama's 6-6? No. But they were 12-2 last year. I would not be surprised if they're 9-3 with maybe a bowl loss or maybe, but I don't see them going 12-2. And again, as you said, I think a bunch of these teams are about where they're going to be. I don't see any major jumps in the SEC. I don't see any major fall-offs in the SEC. So I think, again, if we're talking win-loss differential, I think Alabama could have the biggest win-loss differential because so much has changed in Tuscaloosa this season. So why did you not say Alabama?
I mean, I just think what's going on, Jerry? Nice to see you, man. I just think when you look at Alabama's schedule, obviously a lot of those teams you named can beat them. I don't think South Carolina can beat them personally. Yeah, I like a Mizzou. I think Mizzou's been slept on. I kind of forget about them here and there. I think LSU is not going to be very good this year. So I don't think Tennessee's going to be very good either. I think we kind of saw Tennessee's card last year. I think you have a true freshman, or not a true freshman. You have an inexperienced quarterback, sophomore quarterback. Yeah, coming into this season. So I think they're going to have some work cut out for them. Good seeing you all. Yeah, it's been a little while, man. Alabama question is coaching to me. It's all new for them. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, like I said, I just think Alabama outside of the Georgia game, I'm not concerned with Alabama at Wisconsin because I think Alabama. Oklahoma is a good one as well. I would say Missouri, Oklahoma, and Georgia. Those are the games where I'm like, yeah, I would probably pick against them.
But those are
I wouldn't pick against them in Oklahoma either. I would say Missouri and Georgia.
In all three of those games, I would pick.
You're not picking Oklahoma to beat Alabama.
Oklahoma? Yeah, I think Oklahoma right now. Now, again, we may get.
I wouldn't even pick them right now, though, because we don't even know what Oklahoma's going to be. They just lost Dylan Gabriel.
They did, but this Jackson Arnold dude is supposed to be it all world. He's supposed to be the man.
Yeah, but we haven't seen it. So that's we just got done talking about blue chip ratio.
But we can say the same thing about half of Alabama's team.
That's correct, but I wouldn't say that Oklahoma has the edge just because of that. I mean, because Oklahoma has never won a big time game in 10 years. I can't.
Talking about? They've beat Texas multiple years, to include this past year.
Okay, when was the last time they won a playoff game? When was the last time they won a playoff game?
So only big game? I mean, like they've won
when
big
I say,
games.
but playing Alabama and playing Texas is not the same thing. You play Texas every year. When you play Alabama, it's like
Okay, so if you're
it's
only
a brand.
Alabama's probably the biggest brand in college football, no doubt about that.
I don't think that they're just gonna walk in. It's just like, oh well, I'm obviously every college team feels like they're gonna win. So I'm not gonna say they're gonna walk in and just with their head down, they're gonna lose a game. That's not what I'm saying. But I just don't think like if the game was tomorrow, I don't think Oklahoma will be the betting favorite. There's no way.
No, well, but part of that is just the Alabama brand, right? But what I will say is, I think Oklahoma has had way less turnover from one season to the next, and this was a 10-win team last year, 10-3. Obviously, didn't make it to the playoffs, but they've had way less turnover than Alabama.
And the one game we saw without Dylan Gabriel, they got beat by like 50.
Okay. I mean, I'm not disagreeing.
I just, and again, I'm a big Brent Venables guy, so I have no reason to go against him. I don't think like
let me say this:
if we look at other teams, other schedule,
if I told you Oklahoma beats Alabama this year, right? And I knew this, I was Nostradamus. You like that wouldn't be like you wouldn't be like, oh shit, that's crazy. Like you'd be like,
it wouldn't be crazy, but I don't think they're the betting favorite.
Like, I don't think that's like a storm the field.
If you told me USC beat who did they play? Who did I just say they play? If you told me USC beat Ohio State or Michigan, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, like
I agree,
because I think it would happen, but they would not be the favorite, is what I'm saying. Like,
so if you're saying would they be
if USC's playing, do they play Ohio State or Michigan? I'm sure they play Michigan.
Sure they play one of them, yes.
So they're probably going to be a 10-point underdog in both those games, in either of those games if they ever play. Yeah. But I think they would win. I think
this is what I'm saying. So in the same way, if USC beat Ohio State, I don't think it'd be crazy. Those are both blue blood teams. If Oklahoma beat Alabama, it wouldn't be crazy because those are both blue blood teams.
I agree, but what I'm saying is like they're not. What I'm saying is not they're not the favorite to me. That's all I'm saying.
I think agree that they would not be the betting favorite.
So do you?
But I am saying I would pick right now today. I'd pick Oklahoma.
Boy, you crazy.
Well, how does that sound? We literally can go through the Alabama roster, and there's like maybe
but all
three people that we know that's on that roster.
But okay, but are we?
So you're not basing this off anything you know about people coming back to Alabama outside of great recruiting and the Alabama brand.
Correct.
But that's it. That's the only thing you can base that off of.
But here's the thing. I feel like it's not like I'm just taking a shot in the dark.
But you're saying I'm saying this is crazy. But they lost their running back. They lost a lot. But I'm sure Oklahoma's lost a lot as well. They're just not prime time, so they don't get talked about. That's all it is. They just don't get talked about. Most of the Oklahoma, again, Dylan Gabriel, obviously a big deal. And again, if Dylan Gabriel stayed at Oklahoma this year, then I'd feel much more comfortable.
I would as well, but that's not the case. That's like saying if Nick Saban stayed, then I feel comfortable with Alabama.
But no. I'm not saying this is something. Oh shit, I'm gonna go out and bet my life on.
How did Jackson Arnold do in the bowl game?
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Didn't he throw like 4 picks? Or am I tripping?
Let me pull it up. I don't know. I don't think he threw 4 picks.
I'm almost positive he played terrible. I could be wrong though.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up now.
Against Arizona,
he threw for 361 yards
and 2 touchdowns and 3 picks.
Okay.
Against the damn Wildcats, bro. Come on. We're talking about the Crimson Tide. We're talking about Blitz, Bama Blitz. Come on, bro. Come on. What are we doing right now? Listen.
Again, I am saying I would favor them. I'm not saying it's astronomical that Alabama wins that game. It's very possible. It's almost a fit. When I say I favor them, I'm not saying this is 90. I'm 90%.
Okay, so what would you say then?
I'm probably 55-45. You know what I'm saying? Like that game. And by the time we get to that game,
when do they play?
Well maybe like hold on, I'll pull it up. I very well maybe like, oh shit, some of these guys that we hadn't heard of.
They play November 23rd, so it's like the second to last game.
Yeah, but maybe by the time we get there, I'm like, oh shit, now Alabama, these boys are rolling, and maybe I feel way different.
I'd have to look at Oklahoma's roster, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm a big Brent Venables guy, so I would love to see them beat Alabama. I just don't see it, and it's at Oklahoma too, so it is at Oklahoma.
I feel the boogeyman at Alabama's gone. I feel that boogeyman, that thing that
No,
gave them that extra little confidence,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think
is I think the boogeyman's gone, and
I
I think
the he's not really gone though. Like I know he's still gonna be,
but he is
have,
gone.
well, he's
I'm
still
sure
gonna be,
Kalen DeBoer is wants to be his own coach. I'm
yeah,
sure he's like, I
but
mean,
he's
I'm
not
sure he'll go to
stupid.
Nick
But
Saban.
he's not
I'm sure he's
stupid
going to
though.
go to Nick Saban, but I'm sure he has his own ideas, and he's bringing in his own coordinators. He didn't keep Alabama's old coordinators.
Yeah, I don't know.
The boogeyman's gone. Tell him, Michael. The boogeyman's gone.
I and now that Bama's saying that they did lose a lot of O-line, Oklahoma did. I think they
Okay.
lost a couple to the transfer portal
And
and
again,
went to the draft.
I don't know enough about. I know a bunch of the position players are coming back. Obviously, minus Dylan Gabriel, and I'm not saying
Didn't
that's
they get like the transfer receiver from a small school? They got a transfer. Hold on, let me see.
Oh my goodness, you got Bama Roundup. He over there screaming at the screen. I can see it. I can see old Harlow yelling.
Let me see. Who did they lose? Caden. What's his name?
You're saying they lost?
No. Yeah, they lost somebody, bro. Who did they lose?
Oh, I hear him.
Caden Green. He went to Mizzou. Caden Green went to Mizzou.
What the fuck is Caden Green?
Their starting offensive tackle.
Oh, okay. I thought I said again. I don't know what happened with their line. I know they're bringing back a bunch of their skill player guys.
They lost a lot of offensive linemen. But they, like I said, they brought over Deion Burks from Purdue. That's his name, Deion Burks, the wide receiver. Texas A&M has Alabama's receiver coach. But yeah, I think Oklahoma's going to be good. I just personally on the Alabama schedule, I would say the Georgia game and the Missouri game are the only two games where I'm like, if I had to predict their schedule now, which I'm sure we're going to do soon, now that I'm thinking about it, I would say Alabama goes 10-2, losing to Georgia and Missouri, or losing to Georgia and maybe in Oklahoma, but they beat
So
Missouri.
that's crazy because again, now due to what Missouri's bringing back, I think all the love in the world to Missouri, but just based off of precedence, Oklahoma's way more built of a program.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing because they're bringing back quarterback, running back, and they're bringing a bunch of pieces in the transfer portal. So they're not losing pieces. Now, again, if we said Dylan Gabriel was here, I'm saying Oklahoma's winning that game because I think Oklahoma with Dylan Gabriel is a far better team than with Jackson Arnold. I mean, that's just my opinion. Again, like Jackson Arnold may be good. He may be good.
Heisman.
He may be good. Okay, let's relax a little bit. He may be good. He may be good, but I'm not just going to say Oklahoma just because their brand, because again, it's not like Oklahoma has won 5 of the last 10 championships like Alabama has. So I'm not going to give them the same credit.
But everything has changed.
What the hell changed? What changed?
At Alabama?
Okay, but so
when we say Alabama's won 5 of the last 10 championships, they had one thing that was consistent that is not there anymore, right?
That's fine. Agree?
But that's
but the thing is you act like, okay, so if they lose week 1 or week 2, then we can have this discussion. But when they're 6-0 rolling through people,
wait a minute, so you think they're going to beat Georgia?
I'm just giving it a random number. I'm just saying when they're rolling, are we going to say, well, they don't have Nick Saban, so eventually they're going to lose?
No, and I said 4 weeks into the season, I might. So my thing with Alabama is I need to see it, right? There was a bunch of turnover, not just Nick Saban. To me, the Nick Saban thing is a big deal. He's probably going out as the greatest coach in college football history. That is not a small deal. No knock to Kalen DeBoer, but he's not Nick Saban. There's a big delta between Kalen DeBoer and Nick Saban. And then on top of that, all that they lost, even if Nick Saban was there. Oh, you got Jackson Arnold over Jalen Milroe. That's okay. But even if Nick Saban was there, and let's just say the same amount of losses happened, right? You're still talking about a bunch of players at Alabama that aren't – the only player that we really know that's back is Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe looks like he's going to be great, but that's the only player that – I don't know another player on Alabama right now that I'm like, yo, him.
Okay, so now name me 3 players in Oklahoma that you're like, oh.
Only reason I'm not gonna do it is because I literally have their stats up.
Yeah, but the thing is, there is no player because I can't name one. There's Jackson Arnold's only one, and he threw 3 picks in his debut.
Jackson
To
Arnold,
Arizona, bruh. To
361
Arizona.
yards.
To Arizona.
360. But like I said, I'm not going to.
Bro threw 3 picks to Arizona.
So
does Arizona have 1 5-star defensive player?
I don't know what Arizona has.
That's crazy to say, right?
But again, this is a guy coming in at the end of the season. This is why I say I don't put much stock in bowl games or bowl game results. He's going to have a full offseason this offseason. I assume that he's probably going to be a little bit more prepared going into this whole season, knowing that he's going to be the starter this whole season.
But let's not act like he didn't have a month to prepare for the Wildcats.
Yeah, for his first start ever.
Against the Wildcats.
Why you keep Arizona was a good team? Like, why are you knocking them? Like
Arizona was a good team.
Trash.
Arizona was a good team. Are they an SEC team?
Are they better than Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt's an SEC team. I could take probably Vanderbilt, the whole bottom half of the SEC and say Arizona would beat them.
They might be able to beat 3 or 4 teams in the SEC.
You wildin'.
Come on, bro. They can beat Vanderbilt and maybe Arkansas.
And that's it.
I can name 8 teams right now. They're not messing with the SEC.
I think
maybe I could probably name 10.
I think they beat Kentucky, Mississippi State.
I don't think they beat Kentucky. I don't think they beat Kentucky personally.
This was a good team and what I think was a better conference last year.
Bruh. What does that mean?
Are you saying the Pac-12 wasn't a good
conference?
I'm
not saying that. I'm not saying that, but it's not the SEC is what I'm saying.
This was a 10-win team in the Pac-12.
That don't mean anything.
Nobody.
That doesn't mean anything. It's not the SEC.
How does that not mean anything? Okay, and again, okay.
But so you're saying they would have
teams. I think they're better than Kentucky, Florida, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. I'll leave Texas A&M alone. I think they're better than Auburn, Mississippi State, and Arkansas.
So you just said. So you don't think
that's
Auburn,
half the SEC.
That's not half the SEC.
That is literally half.
How many teams did you name?
I'm sorry. The only teams. Okay, so I'm looking at the standings. So I did not add Oklahoma and Texas.
How many teams did you name?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Name them again.
Kentucky, Florida, South Carolina.
And wait before. So you think they could beat Kentucky based on just a record? Is that what you're saying?
I think they're better than Kentucky. But you're asking me how many teams I named. I named 7 teams. Kentucky, Florida, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. That's 7 teams.
You know what's crazy? Of those 7 teams, 5 of them could beat them.
5 of them could beat them.
Yeah.
I think Arizona would beat all 7 of them.
And you know what's crazy? They would probably be underdogs in half those games.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think they'd be underdogs against Kentucky.
You're telling me no.
Yes.
What other? No.
They would be. I think they would be underdogs against Kentucky.
You putting too much.
That's the same teams you just named that could beat Alabama. That's the same teams you just named. Who? You just Auburn, South Carolina, and Kentucky.
No. I didn't. I said those are games that could be won. I said Auburn's a rivalry game.
That's what I just said.
And no.
Bro,
I agreed with you. When you said half of those teams could beat them, I agreed with you. You said they would be favored, and I disagree. Now, when you say, do I believe that Alabama playing South Carolina, Alabama would be the favorite? Absolutely.
Yes.
I said South Carolina could beat them, which is the same thing I just agreed to when you said it. I said, yes, they could beat them.
5 of the 7 they could beat is what I'm saying.
Could beat them, yes.
Yes. So
could. I think they will?
No. But again, that's the bottom of the SEC. Is what I'm saying.
That's all I'm not saying that. I literally said, hey, that's probably if Arizona moved to the SEC right now, that's probably where I'd have them. A middle of the road SEC team.
Arizona.
Right, this upcoming
last year's Arizona or this year's Arizona?
Well, so I'll be honest. Off the top of my head, I know they're bringing back whatever. I don't want to mess up.
They're bringing back their quarterback and wide receiver, and that is it.
They brought. Didn't Singer come back?
I mean, I have no idea. They've lost their head coach. They lost their head coach, starting running back. They've lost their best DB. and I'm pretty sure they've lost
I don't know
Buddy
what else they've lost.
Flo. They lost a lot. And the crazy thing is we can't name anybody else on that roster.
Okay, so name 3 people on Alabama's roster.
Jam Miller, Jalen Milroe, the corner who came over from USC. What's his name? The number 1 corner in the class. Jam Miller, Jalen Milroe.
And let me tell you, those are the 2 I know.
No, what's his name? Hold on. What's his name?
Boy, we've been here a long time, boy.
What's his name, bro?
For this to be Alabama.
His name is the light skin with the wings. He's from California. Boy. I just forget his name.
Well, we've been here a long time.
That doesn't mean anything.
You prove my.
Okay, Juliet. Okay, who's the backup quarterback? Ty Simpson. There you go. Now what? Now what? Now what? Now what? Now what? Now what? What's the
point.
Exactly? I did. I know I proved the point. Yeah. So
my point.
No, I did. Because here's the thing. How many players? Okay, I'll give it to you this time. Can you name me 10 players?
Ohio State, yes.
No, that have played for Arizona in the last 5 seasons.
Oh, I'm not an Arizona fan. I ain't like I watch a bunch of Arizona.
Can you name 10 Alabama players in the last 5 seasons?
I mean, of course, I'm not saying they're a better program than Alabama. I'm not saying that.
Can you name?
I'm not even comparing Arizona to Alabama. If Arizona against Alabama, I've had Alabama as the favorite.
So you can't name 10 players that played for Arizona the last 5 years.
Maybe if I really tried, but no. Let's just say no. Let's just.
Can you name 5?
Can I name 5? No, not off the top.
So you can't name 5 players from Arizona.
Not off the top of my head.
Can you name?
I'm sure I could. Maybe.
Can you name 5 players from South Carolina in the last 5 years?
In the last 5 years?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure I could.
Can you name 5 players from?
Okay, but SEC's on TV way more.
Okay. What
they're on is that not is SEC on TV more than the Pac-12? In fact, part of the argument with the Pac-12 was that because the games are so late,
but they're still on TV.
But they're on super late and people aren't watching them.
I'm watching them. That's not my
fault. You live on the West Coast. I live on the East Coast.
Whose fault is that? So you could say that you could say the same thing for games that happen really early. You could say the same things.
The earliest game is at 11. Most people are up by 11.
11
East.
Yeah, that's 8 a.m. West Coast.
Most people are up by 8.
So
8's a normal time to wake up. But
not on the weekend. But
a game that starts at 11 o'clock at night and doesn't end till 2, most people on the East Coast because it's a 7:30 game on the West Coast.
I don't. If Alabama is starting at 11 o'clock Eastern, they're watching.
I'm not watching it. I'm not watching Alabama. Now I'm watching Ohio State maybe, but I'm not watching Alabama play some random team. No. South Carolina. No. Let's just go. I'm not watching Alabama, South Carolina at fucking 11 o'clock at night.
If Alabama's playing 11 o'clock, people are watching that game.
I'm sure people will watch.
Yeah, but if Arizona's playing 11 o'clock, ain't nobody tuning into that whack ass game.
Boy, a hater, what?
I'm not a hater. I'm just calling it how I see it.
I didn't know you became an SEC enthusiast. I'm actually shocked by this.
I'm not.
You're
I'm really not. Enthusiast. I'm really not. I'm just realistic about this situation.
This is a 10-win team in the Pac-12 last year.
That doesn't mean anything.
And you're acting like they would be shit in the SEC.
That doesn't mean anything. They would if they move to the SEC. They would be, if there's how many teams are there now? 18? 16?
They were, I think 16. Because I think Texas and Oklahoma, because I think the Big 10 has 18.
So if I had to say,
I said I'd have them about 8, 9.
They'd be in the bottom half of the conference.
I have them about 8 or 9.
And I guess it.
Go ahead.
Really? That's what we're doing now, bro. We've talked about one of the worst teams in the conference. And you just named them as if, like, I'm taking them over Mississippi State. After Mississippi State just beat them. Now that I'm thinking about it, they beat them by 7 points. Or they beat them in overtime or double overtime. So what are we doing right now? Well, you want to pull it up? We pull up the box score? Let's pull up the box score then.
Oh, they beat them in overtime.
Yeah, it was early in the year, too. And you just said,
so that's before the Fatua was the quarterback.
Okay,
I told you I didn't want to mess up the guy's name.
Okay,
that's before he was the quarterback.
Okay, But what you're saying is, so if that's the case, let's take away the wins they got when he wasn't the quarterback as well. Then, so that's what you're gonna do. If you're gonna take away the losses when there wasn't the quarterback, let's take away the wins. So they weren't a 10-win team then. They weren't a 10-win team. But they what? No, you can't play both sides of the fence. You can't say that was before they lost because they didn't have Fafita. But when the wins when they didn't have Fafita still count the wins. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. And Mississippi State had one win in conference. And that was one of the teams that you just named that they're better than. And they couldn't beat Mississippi State Bulldogs. Come on, bro. What are we doing right now?
Arizona lost the game before they had their starting quarterback.
Why do you? Okay, so they also beat Northern Arizona, right?
Okay, like do you believe without
they beat UTEP, right or wrong? Without Fafita. They beat Stanford without Fafita.
Okay.
Right or wrong?
I mean, Stanford is a bad team though.
So
name a good team they beat.
No. So
name a good team they beat without Fafita.
They have 3 wins without Fafita. So in reality, they're not 10-4.
Were any
they're
of those good teams?
Stanford is a decent team. They won by 1 point. And this is the same Stanford team that beat your Big 12 champions, right? Right?
What are you talking about?
Did they beat Colorado? Did Stanford beat Colorado last year? Or am I tripping? Or maybe I'm just talking out of my ass right now. But Stanford's a bad team, right? But Stanford's a bad team, but you got Colorado.
Wait a minute. Pause though.
No, I'm not pausing. We're gonna keep it going. Because we're gonna keep it going.
You are comparing. I am saying Colorado is going to be the Big 12 championship.
We're looking at
this year.
You just told me to name a good team they beat. That's what I'm saying.
Stanford, it wasn't a good team. So you're saying Stanford was a good team because they beat Colorado?
Colorado
was a bad team last year.
Stanford wasn't a slouch, is what I'm saying. They won by 1 point.
They weren't a good team.
Okay, you just said name the teams. You just said name the team.
No, I said name a good team. They beat with Delora at quarterback.
Okay, so now name any good teams. Okay, now I want you to name a good team that they beat with him.
What do you mean? With who?
Name a good team they beat with him.
With who?
With Fafita.
Utah.
Okay. Who else?
And you said name a good team. I just named one. Is Utah not your Big 12 champion? They beat Utah.
Without Cam Rising. Let's make sure we make. Let's
make sure we say that.
Let's make sure we say that. What was their record with Fafita?
Trying to tell me that don't matter.
What was their record with Fafita?
Well, 7-3, right? That's what.
So they weren't a 10-win team then. They weren't a 10-win team. They weren't a 10-win team. Simple.
But that boy trying to play it both ways.
They were 3-1 without Fafita.
They had Cam Rising didn't play the entire season.
They were
so that's not like it was.
You know what's crazy? They had a better win percentage without Fafita in the lineup.
Because they didn't play anybody without Fafita.
What do you mean?
They didn't play a good team.
They were 3-1 though.
Okay. Do you believe any? So I'm going to tell the 3 games they won. I'm assuming this is North Alabama. They UTEP and Stanford. Do you believe they lose? Do you believe they lose any of those games if Fafita's the starting quarterback?
And
again,
be drunk. I don't know.
Let me name all the teams they beat with Fafita. Washington State, a ranked team at the time. Oregon State, a ranked team at the time. UCLA, a ranked team at the time. Utah, a ranked team at the time with Fafita.
Okay. What are we saying? I mean, does that?
So you made it seem like they beat nobody with the guy in there.
Okay,
he beat a bunch of bugs.
But let's go back to the original argument. Let's go back to the original argument. You said they didn't play nobody without Fafita.
Right.
Yet they lost by 21 to the worst SEC team.
They didn't lose by 21.
I'm sorry. They lost in overtime. They lost in overtime to one of the worst SEC teams.
Without the guy who ended up leading them to all these wins, who would be the starting quarterback
they
this
still
season.
Lost. It doesn't matter.
Obviously, it was a big deal. They took the team that was in the national championship. They lost to them by 7.
They what?
They lost to the team in the national championship by 7.
What was the verb you used? They what though? What was the verb you used? They lost.
All right, I'm done.
They lost. They didn't win. They lost.
With Fafita. They're slinging that thing.
So with your best quarterback, you lost. That's what I'm saying.
Lost.
You lost
by 7 to. So are you saying Washington last year would have been in the bottom half of the SEC?
if that's what we're saying here, so if that's the case, Mississippi State is the best Pac-12 team out there. Then, if we're just going to start jumping around,
before Fafita became the
Washington went to the national championship,
and Arizona was, and you remember that game? They were toe for toe with them.
And what did they do? What verb did you just use? What happened at the end of the game?
They were toe for toe.
When the fat lady, listen,
toe is the verb.
When the fat lady started hollering and singing, when the clock hit triple zeros, Arizona went to that locker room and had a post game speech about what they could have did better to win that game. Okay. And I mean, Fafita couldn't get the job done. You know who could? You know who could have got the job done if he wasn't out there doing something he wasn't supposed to do? Jaden DeLora. But we're not gonna talk about that. You
think DeLora was 10 touchdowns to 5 interceptions against much easier competition?
Yeah, but
Fafita was a much better quarterback last year.
He was also battling injury, and he had a lot of off the field stuff, so we can't really.
Yeah, off the field stuff. So, but Fafita came in and balled. That's what we do know.
He did.
You can knock him however you want to.
He balled.
The boy came in and balled.
He did, but he balled against the Pac-12. He didn't ball against the SEC.
Against what we just named 6 or 7 ranked teams that they beat.
Okay, how many of those teams had really good defenses?
Let me go back and look at the schedule.
One of them,
Utah.
One of them. That's the one I just named.
Utah was probably one of the best defenses in college football last year.
They weren't better. They weren't a better defense than Alabama.
Literally kept them in games. No, maybe not better than Alabama.
What other good defenses did they play? I'm all ears. Please let me know. I'm all ears.
Did anybody pick? Did anybody assume? And you said for that they were 7-3. They weren't 7-3. They were 7-2 because they were 10-3 on the season. So he was 7-2 with him. So actually, their winning percentage is better with Fafita.
What defense did they play?
I'm just going back to your previous point.
Okay,
so you can see that point.
Hey,
their winning percentage was better with Fafita.
Everybody, that's called deflection.
No,
that's called deflection.
That's a re-examine.
That's not a re-examine. Answer the question. What good defenses did they play? I want to hear what good defense they played.
UCLA.
Because the last time I checked, I could have sworn you said UCLA. What? They were a good defense.
They were a pretty good defense.
Because the last time I checked, USC had this historic defense that's just the worst you've ever seen in your lifetime. In your 43 years of life, it was just such a bad defense. Who else? Let's continue.
USC was bad. They had a bad defense.
Historically bad. That's yours.
It was historically bad. It was bad. Horrible.
Okay.
And they put up 41 points against USC.
Colorado's defense. Let's see about their defense. How do you feel about their defense?
All right, come on. Let's move on.
Who else? Arizona State. We're gonna talk about that defense. The Sun Devils. Let me actually. I want to see something. Let's go look at UCLA's defense really quick. Let's see how many. So
that was a good defense. We know they got 2 defensive ends that are probably going to be picked in the first or second round. True or false? That's facts.
I have no idea. I can't name you one player on UCLA. I can't name you one. So
they have 2 players that are.
What's their names? Don't start clicking. Don't start clicking stuff. Tell me what their names are.
Dude, Lalautu.
No, tell me his first and last name. You over here like this? He like this. He's like trying to find it.
What are you talking about?
You crazy, bro.
I'm talking about the dude Lalautu. How do you say?
Yeah, I can see you reading the name, bro. I can see you literally signing it. Like, come on.
I said Lalautu had 13 sacks.
Okay, who else?
And Murphy.
Who the hell is Murphy? Sean Murphy Bunting?
You don't
Who the hell is
Murphy? Look, even Mike said their defense was legit.
So we've got
Bama knows Lalautu.
Wait a minute. So this is the way we're ending this argument is Michael Campbell knows. All right,
that man said their defense is legit.
All right, so the next time we're in here and he says something crazy off the wall and he's agreeing with me, I'm gonna say even Michael said it. Even Michael said it.
I'm just going by what the man said. Let me look. Okay, so this defense,
Arizona would be a bottom half team in the SEC.
Okay, I mean
they might finish number 12, 13. They lost to Mississippi State, bro.
Michael is a good reference. Man, he ain't a liar. Why is he? Michael.
Hey, he ain't a liar, but he ain't a truther either.
Michael ain't no liar.
Oh,
I got your back, Big Mike. I got your back.
All right. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for today's show, man. We're gonna drop combine videos this week. We're gonna do a mock draft. Maybe we'll do a mock draft.
Combine videos. We about to run? We about to run a 40? How fast do you think you can run a 40 in?
I actually talked to Edgar about this. So I ran a 4.71 my senior year. I told him I'd probably be around like a 5 flat right now.
I watched somebody run a 5 today, and they looked extremely slow. Again,
no,
I'm not.
No, bro. Wait.
I'm a 4.8 right now.
Listen, you're not a 4.8. Listen, let me tell you something. I raced Scott Pagano when I was 21. He ran a 4.91 and he beat me, bro.
Bad, or was it close?
It was close, like maybe like by 2 steps, but like you don't realize how fast certain people are. Like 4.7 is fast, bro. 4.6 is fast. Like I'm probably like a 4.9, 5 flat. You're not a 4.8, bro. You done had 2 hip replacements, arthroscopic knee surgery.
Literally no hip replacements. What are you talking about? I'm a 4.8 guy.
You can't tell me
in my prime, I was legitly a 4.5 guy. Legit, no BS.
Well, back then they didn't have electric time, so they was back there like this.
I think I was legit a 4.5.
Nah, your coach had a slow thumb. That's all it was.
And so I think I 4.8, 4.9 is.
When was the last time you ran a 40? Realistically,
in high school, a 40 in high school.
Bro, that was pre this century. There's no shut up, bro.
Bro, okay, but you're saying that but I run. It's not like
running 2 miles is not
running.
No. Running 2 miles is not the same as a sprint.
I agree 100%. But what I'm saying is, it's not like I've not done anything in terms of PT in the past 20. How long ago did I graduate? I graduated in 98, right? So what? 25 years ago.
Buddy ass was running in black and white.
25 years ago. Okay, so but it's not like 25. I'm like, oh shit, I was an athlete 25 years ago and I've done nothing for 25 years. You see me burning the motherfuckers on that football field?
Bro, you played center. Stop it,
bro, because nobody else can snap the ball. I played center 1 year.
Bro said you couldn't snap like you had pressure coming from the line of scrimmage.
Have I not played quarterback, wide receiver, running? Have I not played those positions?
You played quarterback wait. You played quarterback, bro. You were like
20. Bro, and I was Vic out there.
That was 20 years ago, Dad.
bro, I was that.
Like literally 20 years ago. Like that's the last time you played quarterback.
That guy, I was Vicking people out there. I was a run first quarterback. Well, you see how fast I did that?
You know what I was doing 20 years ago? Boy, I was tearing them boys up 20 years ago. That's not what I can do now. It's not the same thing. 20 years. We're talking about 20 years.
But my point is, it's not like it's like I've just been sitting here for 25 years.
I'm not saying that, but you're not running a 4.8.
Bro, I think I'll say 4.9.
4.9 is even kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, you act like I'm not an athlete.
I think your memory is clogged based on what you remember, how fast you've been.
I wish there was some way like I could actually get a legit time on a 40. I wish. Is there some place you could go?
Y'all didn't do legit times back in the day. So your 4.5 is not even legit.
I mean, it was as legit as we had. We didn't have but that's how they were doing everybody's then. So everybody's time is
no wonder they said Bo Jackson ran a 4.12 or something. No wonder. Because y'all was back there like not pressing the button fast enough. That's what it was. Y'all crazy, man. But that's gonna wrap it up. We're gonna post combine videos this week.
Probably maybe even a 4.8.
Next week on the live show, we're gonna do a mock draft. So we'll do our mock draft. All right, bro, come on. We'll do our mock draft next week. So next Sunday. So make sure you guys hit the notification bell so you don't miss that. But thank you guys so much.
Everybody, look out for that album from Sly Boogie.
Bye, y'all. I'll see y'all later, bro. Wait, Edgar said when we go into the Ohio State Oregon game, y'all can both run the 40.
Bro, I'll beat Steven in a race. Bro, you've never beat me in a race.
When was the last time? Okay, so before we head out, when was the last time you raced? Because you love saying like you never beat me in basketball. You've never beat me in a race. When was the last time we played? Wait,
all of these things are fact.
So I'm gonna let y'all know now.
You could beat me in basketball right now.
I guarantee it.
You can't guard me. I'm too big for you.
We weigh the same. What are you talking about? What,
bro, how much do you weigh?
How much do you weigh? How much do you weigh? You're like 190.
215 right now. No.
Okay, you weigh more than me. So here's the thing. I have the type of dad that is only going to play his son until he knows he can't beat him anymore. That's exactly why Here's what we're gonna do, Dad. Let's set something up. You live across the country. Let's play a game of Madden on stream. Let's play a game of Madden on stream. You don't want to do that, right?
What are you talking about?
And me
Because
and
I'll
you,
be busy.
me and you both know why you don't want to, because I would 50 ball you, and you don't want. So
okay, even if let's just say, cool, you probably would beat me. You also play Madden more than me.
But okay, we could play 2K, we could play MLB, whatever you want to play, any video game you name it. We could play Dungeons and Dragons,
Bruh,
whatever you want to play.
You think you could beat me in a race?
Yeah, I guarantee you I can. That's not. I don't think.
You act like crazy. I'm Charles Barkley out here.
It's crazy, y'all. He's the type. Once his son or kid, for that matter, gets to a certain age, he doesn't want to play them anymore because there's a threat of them winning. So he's living in the past. To be honest, it's a long time. I have no
when you were like
I have no recollection of losing to him in a race. That's how you know it's been 20 years. I have no recollection of breaking. Me. Okay, name the last time you beat me.
I don't know when it was, but
because
I know
it was 25 years ago.
Do you have recollection of beating me in a race or in basketball? Or
no, because we've never played as I was an adult.
Never played basketball.
When I was 12 or 13, yes.
Now you wildin', bro. You wildin'.
You listen.
You know,
hey, you know what's crazy? This is how you know you have a hating dad. I was in his men's league. I had 40 at half, and he was telling the coach to take me out the game. What are we doing, bro? I had 40 at halftime. He's trying to tell the coach to pull me out the game so I wouldn't score anymore.
Okay, so if we say, are you a better shooter than me? Yes. But can you guard me? I'm bigger than you. But I'll give you, yes, you're absolutely a better shooter than me. You're a very good shooter, son. I don't want you to leave this with no confidence.
Listen, we're going to play. Actually, we're probably not going to play because I didn't bring my shoes. I don't got shoes with me. I'm telling you, he's the type, he's going to die on that hill. He's never going to play me because he understands.
Well, understand.
That's so crazy.
I can beat you in a race and I can beat you in basketball.
Okay, we'll set it up. Let me know. We'll set it up.
Right. I'll be busy, though. You know I'll be busy.
What? See you. That turf monster going to get his ass.
Bro, you act like I'm not an actual athlete. Like you act like
Listen,
I am not naturally athletic.
The last time I saw you play in a contact football sports are not flag, you fell.
I was all Navy.
On your
True
own.
Or false?
No. Contact. I'm talking. I was all Navy then. That's what we're talking about.
I'm not knocking you.
I'm
not taking it from you. But you act like everybody. Was everybody all Navy?
Wait.
Or was I actually very good?
Okay, wait. When was the last time you were all Navy?
Did I not lead the league in touchdowns and receptions?
No, you don't even have that stat.
Right. We all know it.
You are full of shit, bro. You know what's crazy? I'm all Navy. I was all Navy without being in the Navy. That's crazy. That's what I was certified. I was certified.
Who was the first person they asked to be on the all Navy team?
I have no idea.
It was me. I'll tell you.
Well, nobody else played center, so I'm sorry. My bad. Hey, my bad. What's the center for the damn Colts?
No, I thought you were gonna say Jason Kelsey.
No, my bad. What's his name? The dude he's a snap to Peyton Manning.
Jeff Saturday.
My bad, Jeff Saturday.
Bruh.
My bad. That was you were the only center.
And I still was the leading receiver and touchdown. I was.
Listen.
Not yards, receptions, and touchdowns.
You didn't have more touchdowns than me.
You wildin', bro. You wildin'.
I'll FaceTime Foggins right now.
And I played one season.
I'll FaceTime Foggins right now.
And he'll tell you. I promise. Please do that. If you don't even have to do it on the camera. Do it in your private, and I guarantee he'll tell you, yo, Pops was that dude.
Matter of fact, everybody do not leave. Do not leave. I got something to show y'all. Give me 1 second. Don't leave. Dad, don't go nowhere neither.
Brian,
don't go nowhere. No, don't go nowhere neither. Don't you move. Don't you move.
What are you about to show?
Don't you move. Hold on.
If you show a video that I fail jumping over it.
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to show the video first.
This is football related.
Okay, what is it?
I'm not going to embarrass you like that. Hold on. But I should show that. Show clumsy behind. Hold on.
Bro, I played center one season. I've been nice, though.
Anyways. Where's it at? Oh, here it is.
Leading receiver, leading safety.
Hold on, y'all.
Quarterback. Whatever they need, where you need a guy, I'm that guy. What are you about to show?
Hold on, I'm gonna flip the camera. You're about to find out in a second. We talk. This bum. He's a bum.
What are you doing?
I'm finna pull the camera down and everything. So y'all gonna see this in HD.
What are you trying to show? Okay.
Hold on.
I can't see it. Yeah, turn your brightness down. Is this you want to show you? Scoring? I don't know what I'm looking at. Let me see. Well, now I'm looking at your forehead. Okay. I don't know what happened. Your volume went away. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. If anybody can hear him say, I literally cannot hear you. No. I can see your lips moving. Yeah, nobody can hear you. I don't know what's going on, and I can't hear you. People are saying they can't hear you. I still can't hear you.
Oh, I know you can hear me now, my brother. I know you. No. I pressed the button on accident. So I'm tempted.
So apologize for you.
No, I was trying to click stuff. I didn't say you couldn't hear me. What are you talking about? Okay. I don't know why it's not zooming. It's not focusing, and it's pissing me off. I can't give it away. I need the people to see it. I can't give it away. You're gonna see in a second. It's you being a fraud.
Okay. I was a fraud?
He's the center.
Okay. What is this? Okay.
Right off his damn hands.
You show one drop?
Drop for a pick six on a hit route?
I can't even see the play.
Okay, don't worry, guys. What I'll do is I'll just email myself the video and then I'll just make it a YouTube short so everybody can see it. Right. That's what we'll do. So
I had a drop. Was I not all Navy?
You weren't all Navy. Buddy said he was a Pro Bowler, but he declined.
Okay, so one, I was all Navy, and I had a business trip and couldn't go.
I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't know you had a business trip.
So that's why I couldn't go, because I literally left the island. Well,
you weren't dedicated. That's what it sounds like to me.
I wasn't dedicated to play flag football.
I was there.
When I have a job that required me to go somewhere else.
I was there. Listen, and I was there. Not only was I there, but I was the spotlight of that team too.
Well, I don't remember that.
They did an article.
And I was the first person asked.
They did an article. They did an article.
Sure they did. I don't disagree.
They didn't want to ask me because they saw my facial hair and they didn't think I could play because of civilian rules. That's what it was.
They asked me first. That's all I'm gonna say. I led the league, and so if you're gonna show every good highlight.
I don't have no
taking
highlights
team to championships, playing quarterback, playing wide receiver, playing free safety.
Bro, they didn't even have video cameras back then.
But you've seen it.
No, when?
You've never seen me play football? I'm not talking about high school.
No, I said you played quarterback. That was 20 years ago.
Oh, but don't act like I wasn't nice.
That was 20 years ago. Do you realize how long that is?
Don't act like I wasn't nice.
Listen, 20 years ago was a long time.
Okay, well, however long ago. Don't act like I wasn't that dude out there.
You sound like Charles Barkley right now.
Charles Barkley was that dude too.
You sound like Charles Barkley, right? You sound like Chuck.
You notice he hasn't said it. This is why I got to keep beating him.
Haven't said what?
That I was that dude out there.
20 years ago, you were nice.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
But you know the difference is though. 20 years ago, you were 23. You ain't 23 no more. That's the difference. That's not the same thing.
Okay, all I said is probably like a 4.9.
You're not running a 4.9.
And I would beat you in basketball. And I'm not even saying. I'm saying like literally, you can't do anything with me in the post. I'm too big for you.
So okay, wait. So I have a question. So is it just dribble as much as you want and score? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying like 3 dribbles, like it actually takes skill?
No, I'm talking.
Oh yeah, so I understand that. That's fine. That's not, to me, that's not basketball. So that's fine. If you want to, you can have
basketball is not dribbling. Do they say you can only dribble 3 times in basketball?
Basketball is also not just one-on-one because you're gonna get help defense.
Okay, I agree with you.
So the reason why they add 3 dribbles is so that way people can't, like, for example, hypothetically, let's say I was 300 pounds and you were 150 and you were super in shape. You could just dribble around people online until I get tired, then go run it in. That's why I'm saying 3 dribbles. It takes skill. You actually and you can still back somebody in. That's fine.
Again, I've said you're probably a better shooter than me. If we played a game of basketball in a team game, you'd probably score more points. But you
Okay,
cannot
that's
beat
fine.
me one-on-one
So
because you can't play with me in the post.
do you want to play 1-on-1 3 dribbles?
I don't even know what that is. You're like
You
making up a game.
No, that's not making up a
I've
game.
never played that.
So what I'm asking
So
is,
I
do
don't
you
even
want
know how to play it. I don't know
You
the
don't know.
rules. I don't know how to play it.
Y'all see this, right? He doesn't know how to play 1-on-1 with 3 dribbles.
I don't know. I've never played that before in my life.
Hey, you what John Morant say? We don't duck smoke. We go up the chimney. He don't go up the chimney. That's all it is. You don't go up the chimney.
This is like me saying, you want to play badminton? I've never played that. That's a different game than I'm used to playing.
Listen, if I wanted Michael Campbell in here talking out of his ass, I would have added Michael Campbell in here.
What are you talking about?
No, you said badminton. What are you talking about?
Oh, I was just using that as an example.
Basketball with 3 dribbles or basketball without 3 dribbles is still basketball.
Right. So let's play without 3 dribbles.
So, okay, fine. We could do that then. And I'm just gonna dribble on the top of the key for 30 minutes on my possession. Then what?
Wait, you don't have more stamina than me.
I don't need to have more stamina than you. You're gonna get lazy. What do you have a short attention span? You're 43. You're just gonna be like, okay, whatever.
I don't have ADHD, motherfucker. What are you talking about? I'm not gonna be like, oh shit, look, let's go play in the grass. No, like, what are you talking? Like, I'm just start running off the court to go play in the grass?
Edgar, but I'm crazy, right? That's one thing that we have to remember. Dude played in black and white. But that's
okay. I mean, he's saying, okay, but you're saying nowadays. I'm saying I've never played that. I'm not saying that people
got the dimension defense.
Yeah, that's what you're acting like. Okay, let me.
Eventually, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm over it. That's you're not just gonna.
You're not just dribbling for 30 minutes. That's whack.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you play.
Okay, I'm not dribbling for 30 minutes. I'm taking the ball and going to the post. Is post play not part of basketball anymore? Like, we're only shooting threes? This is the Steph Curry era got y'all wilding. Post basketball is still a thing.
Are we gonna play or what?
No, man, because you talking about weird games. All right, I gotta go. Come on.
Y'all know he getting old. He need his sleep. All right, y'all. We're gonna see y'all next week.
It's later here.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's 10 o'clock.
I said later.
Okay, but you said I gotta get some sleep. Like that's
I told
buddy old, bro.
But I gotta go.
All right, knees locking up. We'll see y'all, man.
Bye.